Tell us your story and your twin boys' story.
My name's Rachel Barnhart. I have twin boys that are almost 5, Logan and Ethan, and they were typically developing at first. I had a pretty complicated pregnancy with gestational diabetes and preeclampsia, a lot of preterm labor. I was in and out of the hospital during the pregnancy, but all along pretty much everything was fine with them. They were born at 36 weeks. I had a C-section and everything went well. They did great and got to go home right away. We really never had any concerns until about the time that they were 2. At 2, they still were not talking, not really communicating a lot, and that was our biggest concern that we noticed was the speech. So at that point, we got involved with Help Me Grow and started a family service plan with them, ended up starting speech and occupational therapy. And at that time, pretty much right away, we got on the waiting list with Children's to have the autism evaluations done to see if they did have that official diagnosis. It did take about 8 months to get in with them to actually have the evaluations done. So they were about 3.5 by the time they were actually diagnosed, but from the time that they were probably 2.5, we were fairly certain that they did have the symptoms of autism. They started special needs preschool when they were 3, and Logan basically just took off with that. That seemed to be a really good fit for him. He was in a typical classroom with other typical kids and special needs kids, and he just took off with that and really started to make a lot of progress. Ethan, on the other hand, that environment just completely stressed him out, and he did not do well there. So we were able to move him to a different type of preschool unit that was specifically for kids with autism. So that, along with private speech and occupational therapy, was the main approach that we were taking at that time. And again, Logan really has responded well to everything that we've tried, but Ethan just was making minimal progress all along, but not as much as what we would like to see, especially in comparison with his brother. We started, I got involved with the National Autism Association. They have monthly meetings here in Zanesville that kind of help spread the word, especially about different types of treatment approaches. And one of the first meetings that I went to with them, I listened to a doctor speak about treating with vitamin supplements and things. And so we ended up going to see him, and we've been doing that for just a little over a year now. And we've seen a lot of improvement with that, but we just still felt like, especially with Ethan, that there was more that we really wanted to see if he could even make more improvement. And a couple months ago at one of those National Autism Association meetings, I listened to Dr. Russ Schroeder speak about the Mind Institute and had never even heard of it before, never heard of that type of approach with the brain training exercises, but pretty much everything that he said just made a lot of sense, and thought it's something that we haven't tried yet and really just kind of wanted to see where it would go. So we signed up right away to do evaluations, and we did an initial evaluation where they did a lot of different neurological tests, to, motions and movements and things, looking for reflexes, and based on that then came up with a plan for exercises that the boys come in and do 3 times a week and then also at home. And we've really seen a lot of improvement. It's only been about a month, but already Logan has shown a lot more focus, and at the time that we started, he was sort of potty trained but not completely, and in that time he has become completely potty trained. He has not had an accident in several weeks, and he's even been overnight sleeping in underwear, waking up dry in the morning. Ethan has been, he's still completely nonverbal, but he has started to echo more sounds and repeat some words occasionally, and he's a lot more calm and laid back. We, for the longest time, have avoided even going out to eat in a restaurant because he just can't even sit still in a chair. He's kind of all over the place. And just last week we went out to eat with a large group with my family, and he sat in a booth between me and my father and still squirmed around a little bit, but it was night and day different from what the typical scenario was just a few months ago. He was able to sit through, we had a group of like 13 people, so it took a while to get our food, and sat through all of that and ate his meal and enjoyed being there with a large group of our family. So that was huge for us.
Wow.
we're noticing a lot of little things like that aren't always the most measurable types of improvement, but it's like, hey, he wasn't doing that before. Like, he's started to figure out doorknobs and light switches, and that's good and bad. But
right.
In fact, he every day when we come in for the exercises with Miss Heather, he walks over and flips off the light switch for the hallway and leaves them in the dark. But he's aware of what a light switch does, and that fascinates him, and he's figured out that he can control that. So I think that's pretty cool. And as far as the coming in and doing the exercises themselves, they love it. They think that it's great fun. So it's nothing that is invasive or hurting them or anything like that. They really enjoy it. They look forward to it. And I'm really like restraining them to keep them from rushing back the hallway. And when we get here, we have to wait until it's time for them to go back. And at home, the exercises that we do is a lot of just stuff that we would normally do anyway, things like jumping jacks and marching and passing the ball back and forth, and they really enjoy that. We make a game out of it, and I have a 2-year-old also, and he thinks it's great fun and joins in, and he's doing jumping jacks right along with them, so it's nothing that's too invasive or painful or anything like that for them. They really have a lot of fun with it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your story. I'll look forward to doing another one of these in a month or two, and it's been a great first month. Just hearing the stories being passed on from Miss Heather.
Definitely.
So thank you for coming in and telling your story.
You're welcome.